Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Sklar and welcome to Fertility TV. In this episode, I'm talking about detoxification and your hormones. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Sklar and welcome back to Fertility TV. I work with couples from all over the world with my online fertility programs, my one-on-one private fertility coaching, and locally here in San Diego at both of my clinics. And as I mentioned before, detoxification is a big topic. But primarily what I want to talk about in this video is detoxification and your hormones. So the first question that often gets asked is when to detox? Well, that can vary from patient to patient based on circumstances. So I think in simple terms, if you want to pick a time of year that is best suited for detoxifying, I like to say the spring and the fall. You go through the two extremes of summer and winter, and you really work on those more fluid seasons. And so we want to work with the seasons and the natural rhythm of our body and the earth. And so detoxifying, stumbling on my words today, twice a year at those times is really ideal. But there's also other times that make sense, right? We don't always need to wait just to those specific times of the year. And so one of the other key times is if we find out that we're estrogen dominant, right? We find out that we've got increased hormones that we don't need, excess hormones that we don't need in the body, and one of those would be estrogen. So we want always proper balance of hormones. There's a range that we want to be in, but if we've got too much estrogen, then that can start to cause endometriosis, fibroids, contribute to PCOS and so forth. So we want that to go away. And so I'm not going to wait to a specific time of year to do a detox at that time. Instead, as soon as I find that out, we're going to create a plan for a patient to detoxify appropriately. Number two, when it comes to hormones, is androgen dominance. So oftentimes we'll find this with our PCOS patients or PCOS variations, right? Is that those women will have increased androgens or testosterone. And so again, for that specific person, I'm not going to wait to those times of the season. I mean, if it happens to coincide, great, but I'm really going to focus on getting ready and getting rid of those excess hormones. So those are some key times. We can also do it for men as well. If they've got increased hormones that we don't need, they can have estrogen dominance, they can have too much testosterone and so forth. So those are things that we'd also look for both in our male and female patients. If you've had any exposure to toxins or chemicals, maybe you work in an environment where you're exposed to those things, or for whatever reason you put yourself in that environment, all of a sudden you had this large toxic overload and burden put into your system, that would also be a time to detoxify. Now those probably have to be handled a little bit differently, but that would be reason enough. One of those toxins or so forth that you could think of is like mold. You know, we often don't think of ourselves as mold as being this major toxic health issue, but it absolutely can be. And so that's probably more apt, especially in places that have high exposure to water. So outside of the hormones and the toxic exposure, when we feel like we need some liver support, if we feel that our liver is a little bit sluggish, maybe you did some lab work and you found that your liver enzymes were a little bit elevated, doing a liver detox would be beneficial and supportive. And then kind of going back into the whole hormone aspect of thing and increased hormone exposure, I think of any sort of fertility treatments into that category. So if you've been doing inseminations, any hormone treatment, birth control pill, IVF treatments, then we've had this increase in overload of hormones, and this can absolutely burden the system and cause too much. And so we want to pick an appropriate time to do that detox, maybe in between IVF cycles, or certainly if you've just gotten off birth control, that would be an appropriate time. So getting rid of those excess hormones that will get stored in the body and in the fat cells would be extremely important. You know, I did create a Jumpstart Your Detox PDF that you can get right here, and that PDF will help get you started. It just gives you kind of like the framework and a 2-day jumpstart to your detox. You can download that right here and get all the information that you need. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. If you want to find out when the next YouTube videos are coming out, for me, then subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to get all of this information in a nice, handy, written out form, then click on the link below, which will take you to my blog post and give you all of that information. Thanks so much, and until the next video. Are you looking for a fertility coach? Are you looking for someone to guide you with your personal needs one-on-one? Well, that can be me. If you want more information on that, check it out right here.